So stomach 12 and stomach 13 are on either side of the clavicle, foresoon lateral to the midline. So to find foresoon, midline to acromion process is 8 soon. So we divide it in half for foresoon. And then stomach 12 is above the clavicle in the supraclavicular fossa. Oh, I have a dot here. And then stomach 13 is right below the clavicle, foresoon lateral to the midline. So we could say right below the clavicle or in the 0th intercostal space. So after that, we're just counting down in rib spaces, foresoon lateral to the midline. So again, the way we find the intercostal spaces is we come to the center. Here's the manubrium, here's the sternum. Where they come together is the sternomanubrial angle. Take 2 fingers, put them on either side of the joint. Now if I come out just a little bit, I can feel a rib between my fingers. This is the second rib. So my top finger is in the first intercostal space, my bottom finger is the second intercostal space. So if we then come first intercostal space, foresoon out, gives us stomach 14. First intercostal space, second intercostal space, foresoon out, gives us stomach 15. Then second intercostal space, third intercostal space, gives us stomach 16. So when we're feeling for intercostal spaces, it's going to be easier to palpate the ribs near the midline and then come out. So don't come out foresoon and try to feel for rib spaces. It's going to be hard to feel because there's so much muscle there. So palpate your intercostal spaces near the midline and then come out foresoon. So then after that, stomach 17 is in the 4th intercostal space, which is the nipple. So that's something we use as a reference point, but we don't needle it. And then stomach 18 is in the 5th intercostal space. The name of this point is Rugen, which means root of breast. So if I wanted to, I could palpate down and find the 5th intercostal space, but generally it's right underneath the pec muscle. In women, this is going to be right where the underwire of the bra is. So that's where stomach 18 would be. Hey, I just want to do this one more time just so you can see what these points look like on different body types. And I ran out of stickers, so I just drew on myself with children's markers. So hopefully that still shows up okay. So like we said, stomach 12 and stomach 13 are above and below the clavicle, foresoon lateral to the midline. After that, we're on the chest and we're just counting down rib spaces. So I find sternomanubrial angle, take 2 fingers, put them on either side, come out to find the second rib. My top finger is in the first intercostal space, so I come out foresoon for stomach 14. Come back to the midline, find the sternomanubrial angle, find the second rib. My bottom finger is in the second intercostal space, so I come out foresoon to find stomach 15. Come back to the midline, find the sternomanubrial angle, second rib, and now I have to count down 1 rib space. So here's first intercostal space, second intercostal space, second, third. For the third intercostal space, come out foresoon for stomach 16. Come back to the midline, sternomanubrial angle, first intercostal space, second intercostal space, second, third, third, fourth intercostal space, foresoon out is stomach 17, which is the nipple. So stomach 17 is just a reference point. We don't needle it and we don't do moxa on it. And then even though we say that the nipple is in the 4th intercostal space, foresoon lateral to the midline, we don't really use that as a reliable landmark to locate the other points because nipples can move around. After that is stomach 18 in the 5th intercostal space. So I could try to count rib spaces for it. So here's first intercostal space, second, third, fourth, fifth, and come out foresoon. It's a little bit more difficult to palpate the 5th intercostal space here, but basically what we're doing is, again, the name of this point is root of the breast, so it's right on the lower border of this pec muscle. So it's in this space right where the breast meets the torso. So if you're doing this on a female patient, this is right where the underwire of the bra goes, and you would have to have them lift their bra up in order to get to stomach 18. So after that, we move to the upper abdomen, and here our line moves from foresoon lateral to the midline to two-soon lateral to the midline. So stomach 18 is the last point on the chest, foresoon lateral. Stomach 19 is the first point on the abdomen, 2 sun lateral to the midline. And then here, all our points are just 1 sun apart. So let's go back to Tiffany and locate our points on the abdomen. So when we come down onto the abdomen, we're going from 4 sun to 2 sun. So the way we find 2 sun is we could come back up here and do midline to acromion as 8 sun. Half of 8 is 4, half of 4 is 2, and then we just have to bring that down onto the abdomen without moving it. The other thing we could do is just palpate for lateral border of rectus abdominis. This is 4 sun out, so we come halfway for 2 sun. Stomach 25 is level with the umbilicus, 2 sun lateral to the midline. And then our measurement for above the umbilicus is umbilicus to sternocostal angle is 8 sun. So we can palpate this. I usually put my fingers on either rib and then just walk it up until it comes together. And so this is going to be a little bit higher than you think. Make sure you're not feeling down here on the xiphoid process. This is going to be a little bit higher than what you think it is. So sternocostal angle to umbilicus is 8 sun. Stomach 19 is 6 sun above the umbilicus. So here's 8 sun. Half of 8 is 4. Halfway between 4 and 8 is 6. And we come 2 sun lateral to the midline for stomach 19. Then we can locate every other one. Here's 8 sun. Half of 8 is 4. 2 sun lateral to the midline, stomach 21. Here's 8 sun. Half of 8 is 4. Half again is 2. 2 sun lateral to the midline, stomach 23. Now we can just fill in stomach 19, stomach 20, stomach 21, stomach 22, stomach 23, stomach 24, and stomach 25. So when we come to the lower abdomen, below the umbilicus, our measurement is upper border of the pubic symphysis to umbilicus is 5 sun. So the first thing we need to do is find upper border of pubic symphysis. Now some people will ask the patient, can you show me your pubic symphysis? I usually avoid doing that just because a lot of people don't know, and so it's going to be easier to just palpate for it. So the way we palpate is I take my hand that's closer to the feet and lay it flat on the lower abdomen, and then just roll the back of my hand down until I run into upper border of the pubic symphysis. So there's definitely a border of a bone here. When you're doing this on a real person, don't actually push that hard because the bladder is right underneath, but there's definitely a bone right there. So I take 6 fingers for my 5 sun. So upper border of pubic symphysis to umbilicus is 5 sun. 6 fingers gives me stomach 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I just have to come out 2 sun. So 25, 26. I should have thought a better way to do this. So I have 5 sun, 6 fingers, and come out for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, so stomach 31 is on the upper leg lateral to the sartorius muscle. So if we look at the Deadman definition is you take the lower border of the pubic symphysis and where it lines up with the lateral border of the ASIS, that gives us stomach 31. So if you try palpating this on yourself, you can feel down. First feel the upper border of pubic symphysis, and then palpate further down to feel the lower border of your pubic symphysis. And if you do this on yourself, you should be able to figure out why we should never palpate that area on a patient. So instead what we can do is the line of the stomach channel goes from the laterosuperior border of the patella to ASIS. So we can just follow this up, and we're basically going to fall into this point right where the hip bends. And so we can just follow up the line of the stomach channel, and where we fall into that point is going to be stomach 31. Then when we come down to the knee, again our line is from laterosuperior border of the patella to the ASIS, that gives us our line. So stomach 34 is too soon up from the laterosuperior border. And so for our too soon, we're really just taking the width of the patella and then coming up until we're on the line for stomach 34. So stomach 34 is too soon up. Stomach 33 is 3 soon up. So I take 2 soon, double it for 4. 3 soon is halfway between 2 and 4. Stomach 32 is 6 soon up. So I take 2 soon, 2, 4, 6 for stomach 32. On the line from the laterosuperior border of the patella to ASIS. Stomach 35 is on the knee below the inferior border of the patella.